Hello and welcome back to Podium Quick Tips. In this week's video we're going to take a look at some basic post-processing techniques and discuss how we can add light bloom to a render in Photoshop. So if we switch over to the Podium gallery here and just take a look at some of these renders, you can see that around the windows and anywhere where light is entering the room we get this sort of really nice diffuse soft light glow. And that's what I'm referring to as light bloom. This is a technique that's used very frequently in modern architectural visualization, and it really serves to liven up the image a bit and give it some interest. So let's flip back to Photoshop and get started. Okay, so I've loaded up a very simple test scene here. It's just a simple image using Podium and Podium Browser, and what we're going to do is add a little bit of light bloom around these bright areas in the scene. Now, when we're finished, we should end up with something sort of similar to this. We don't want to be too heavy-handed with it. It's just a very subtle effect to liven up the image. So, how do we do this? The first thing we're going to do is take our base render, which is our bottom layer right now, and we're going to duplicate it. Okay, so now we have the same render copied twice. Now, right off the bat, what we could do is take this layer copy and change the blending mode to something like screen or linear dodge. But this is going to blow everything out. Screen is a little bit better, but it's still not quite the effect we're going for. What we need to do is make some modifications to this layer so that the effect is a little bit more controlled. So we're going to come up to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and what we need to do is switch the contrast. So I'm going to grab the left slider and pull it to the right until right about here or so, and maybe, yeah, something just like that'll be good. And the reason we're doing this is so that we don't get light bloom where we don't want it. Okay. Now, we're not done quite yet. I'm going to come back up to Image, Adjustments, and just do a Hue Saturation adjustment. I'm going to bump the saturation down on this a little bit because we're getting some really weird colors in there right now. And tone down the brightness just a tad. Okay. And then the final step, we're going to go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and the radius is going to affect how extensive the light bloom is. So the bigger the radius, the more glow we're going to have. The lower the radius, less glow. I want something in between, so probably around 7.6. This is completely up to you. It's just a stylistic choice, but I'm going to go with that. Now, if I switch this to screen, we have our light bloom. This is a bit over the top, so what we can do is come up to the opacity slider, bring this down to maybe, I kind of like that, right at 49. Okay. Okay, so that's a basic light bloom effect. I should add, this is not the only way to go about this, so if you've got a different way for achieving the same effect, that's great. This just happens to be the way I was taught and the method that I use, but with post-processing there's usually a lot of different ways to achieve the same thing, so don't hesitate to experiment. And if you have any questions on this technique or any other technique, don't hesitate to post them on the SU Podium forums. So thank you guys so much. Hope you learned something and have a great day.